It was a beautiful summer day in the countryside. The sun shone warmly on a small farm surrounded by fields and ponds. Near one of these ponds, a mother duck sat on her nest, waiting for her eggs to hatch. She had been sitting there for days, keeping them warm. And finally, the moment arrived. One by one, the eggs began to crack open. Out came little yellow ducklings, chirping and looking around with curious eyes. "Quack, quack," said the mother duck proudly. "Welcome to the world, my little ones." But one egg, the biggest of them all, remained unbroken. The mother duck grew impatient. "Why is this one taking so long?" she wondered. At last, the egg cracked, and out came a large, grey, clumsy duckling. He didn't look like the others. The other ducklings stared at him. "He's so big and strange," one said. "What an ugly duckling," said another. The mother duck frowned but said, "Let's give him a chance. Maybe he'll grow into his looks." The days passed, and the ugly duckling tried to fit in. He followed his siblings to the pond, splashing and paddling as they learned to swim. But his clumsy movements made the other ducklings laugh. The animals on the farm were no kinder. The chickens pecked at him, the pigs oinked rudely, and even the grown ducks quacked meanly at him. "You're too ugly to stay here," they said. The duckling felt more and more alone. Even his own siblings teased him. His mother tried to comfort him, but she couldn't stop the others from being cruel. One day, the ugly duckling couldn't take it anymore. "I don't belong here," he thought sadly. So, early one morning, he spread his wings and left the farm. The ugly duckling wandered through the countryside, searching for a place where he might fit in. He came to a pond where a group of wild ducks were swimming. "Can I stay here?" he asked timidly. The wild ducks looked at him and laughed. "You're too ugly to be one of us," they said. Feeling rejected, the duckling moved on. Next, he came across a cottage where an old woman lived with her cat and hen. The woman took him in, thinking he might lay eggs. But the cat and the hen teased him relentlessly. "Can you purr like me?" asked the cat. "Can you lay eggs like me?" clucked the hen. "No," said the ugly duckling. "Then you're useless," they said. The duckling couldn't stand it and left the cottage. As autumn turned to winter, the world grew cold and covered in snow. The duckling found shelter near a frozen lake. He struggled to stay warm and find food. One day, a kind farmer discovered him lying in the snow, nearly frozen. The farmer brought him to his home, where he was warmed by the fire. But the children in the house scared the duckling with their loud games, and he fled once more. Winter was long and harsh. The duckling endured cold nights and hunger, but he never gave up. Deep down, he hoped that someday things would get better. When spring finally arrived, the world came alive again. Flowers bloomed and the sun melted the ice on the ponds. The ugly duckling had grown bigger and stronger over the winter. He stretched his wings and felt a surge of energy. One day, while flying over a pond, he saw a group of beautiful white birds with long necks and graceful wings. They were swans. The duckling had never seen such elegant creatures before. He landed nearby and watched them from a distance, afraid they might laugh at him too. But the swans noticed him and swam closer. "Who are you?" they asked kindly. "I'm just an ugly duckling," he said, lowering his head. "Look into the water," one swan said. The duckling hesitated, but leaned over the pond. He couldn't believe his eyes. The reflection staring back at him wasn't an ugly duckling. It was a swan. The swans welcomed him warmly. "You're one of us," they said. For the first time, the duckling felt like he belonged. He swam proudly with his new family, no longer worried about being different. He realized that all his struggles had led him to this moment. He wasn't an ugly duckling after all. He had just been a swan waiting to grow. From that day on, he lived happily, knowing that being different was what made him special.